Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. We're GabNet, and we've got you covered live 5 nights a week. First Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, it's The Exchange.
Harlan Ellison totally insisted that there were no sounds in space on Babylon 5. Watching it for 20 minutes will clearly show that there are sounds in space. So what the fuck are you pulling this out of, Mr. Harlan Ellison? That pretty much cemented the idea of who Harlan was in my brain.
Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern, join Alex Bennett on the Ramble.
You don't think Bill Clinton's a pervert?
No, I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I really don't. I think I think he's a man who let his dick talk for him. You know, I think he's a guy who was pursued by a young woman and should have said no, but he didn't. Now, the only woman I ever talked to that fucked Bill Clinton was Jennifer Flowers. She kept saying during the interview, you know, I really did have sex with Bill Clinton. And I asked her the question, I said, that's not what's important to me. What's important to me was he a gentleman? And she said, he was terrific. She said, every time we'd have sex, the next day he would call and see if I was okay. He never dodged my calls. If I wanted to call him, he was absolute gentleman.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
We now know that Trump doesn't hate all Democrats. He at least likes the Democrats who he perceives to be as crooked as he is.
Ah, wait a minute, ring that bell!
I mean, between Menendez and Blagojevich, you know, who we pardoned.
If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
There's a lot of long-ass games come knockout round because they have to finish. So you have to play up to 120 minutes plus a penalty shootout. Kick.
Catch up on all the shows with our weekend flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GabNet. It's new, it's daring, it's talk like you've never heard it before. Talk like you've never heard it before is now talk like you've never seen it before. Alex Bennett's Ramble is now in video. Log on to Alex's Facebook page at facebook.com/abennett every Tuesday through Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern and experience the Citizen Panel like never before. We put a face to people like Phil, Patrick, Renee, Kevin, Tony, Jeff, Bree, Brian, and all of our regulars. And Alex is there too, in his PJs. Just be glad he isn't naked. You can be one of those people who gets seen and not just heard by calling into Skype. For more information on how to Skype us, just go to gabnet.net. You can dress any way you want, provided it's decent. GabNet is now not just talk and not just a pretty face. So why don't you add yours? Spotify has 180 million monthly users and access to 35 million songs and podcasts. Now, all those offerings are going to have to move over and make room for GabNet programming. Yes, at long last, Alex Bennett's Ramble, Damian Chaplin's Exchange, Jack Bishop's The Intersection, and even the franchise MC's Arena and Michael Snyder's weekly movie reviews will be fighting for space on this massive platform. Each day, the programs are updated, so you can hear them on the Spotify app, available for all smartphones and game consoles. Or you can just go to Spotify on the web at spotify.com. So, give us a shot on Spotify. There's a 35 million to 5 chance we'll get people to listen to talk like they've never heard it before. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey. Yes, I've got laryngitis tonight, folks. Yes, the old larynx are trashed. Okay, all right, okay. Anyway, hello, how are you? We have a brand new look all the way around for this show tonight. And we'll tell you more about that. I mean, you notice the first thing is, of course, that we have a different position where I'm doing this, because I'm doing this now from my brand new, wonderful, what do you call it? A Mac Pro. And it's really good. And it can really take a licking and keep on ticking, or whatever. Anyway, so and it has so much CPU that we will never run out of CPU, folks. Never run out of CPU, okay? Oh, God. See this? Got that right there. That's a you know what I can't do? I can't keep the light from, see how the light changes when I put that up there? I tried to fix that, but I can't. I couldn't do it on the other machine. I can't do it on this one. So anyway, so we'll get to all of that, okay, in just a little bit. I kind of like this, though, because I can really look at you, and talk to you, okay? So we have changed everything around here, and we will be explaining the whole thing as we go on. But I figured I'd start off tonight with a little bit of Alex likes to gripe. I wish we had a theme for it. Do we have a theme for it? No, we don't have anything we can play. I'm trying to think. Is there anything we could play? Nah. Let me see here. Nah. I have to find some Alex Likes to Complain music. It probably should be just the theme song, right? Alex Likes to Complain. May I say something without equivocation, and that is Steven Spielberg is a fucking asshole. Why, you say? We love Steven Spielberg. He does all those great movies with kids on bicycles going over the moon. Yeah, we love Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg is, I think, maybe one of the... He's not the best director, because he has... How can I say this? I never felt that he had any empathy. He never really had any soul in his filmmaking. But technically, he was perfect. I mean, if you want to see a perfect movie, watch Indiana Jones, okay? Raiders of the Lost Ark. Probably the most perfect film I've ever seen. If I had to show a film student how do you make a perfect movie, I would show him Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is a perfect film in the hands of a man who just knows the medium. He knows photography, and he knows lighting, and he knows the whole thing, and he knows how to present a story and so on. But he has no soul. I mean, he was best with Raiders of the Lost Ark. He was best with the adventure films, But when he got into the dramatic stuff, come on, he really doesn't have a soul. And I even felt that Schindler's List lacked soul. I know that sounds strange, but I really felt it did. Anyway, I have always felt that he is one of the best directors alive. But a better director from the standpoint of film as art, okay, is Martin Scorsese, who's got him beat by a mile. But he doesn't have the technique that Spielberg has. I wish there were this hybrid that came along that was a Spielberg combined with a Scorsese, and boy, would you have a great motion picture director. So anyway, why do I say Steven Spielberg is a piece of shit? Let me read you this item. Netflix has gained an unlikely ally in its effort to remain a force in the Oscar race, and that's the U.S. Department of Justice. Now, listen to this. This is really quite a story. Macon Delraham, the head of the DOJ Antitrust Division, sent a letter last month to Dawn Hudson, CEO of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. In the letter, the AT&T Time Warner foe makes the case that changes to the eligibility rules
contemplated by the Academy could wind up unduly harming Netflix and other streaming services. Get what they're saying. The Justice Department is saying to say that the rule they're trying to make. Okay, well, let me read it further and then it'll explain it. The letter cites the Sherman Act, which has governed antitrust law since 1890. There could be a violation, Delrame writes, if the Academy adopts a new rule to exclude certain types of films, such as films distributed via online streaming services, from eligibility from the Oscars. He noted that such a move could be interpreted as a group of established entities displaying anti-competitive behavior designed to harm a new rival. Right? Netflix is not a babe in woods, however. The Silicon Valley giant has spent billions ramping up formidable movie machine, releasing dozens of films from teen rom-coms to art house titles to higher budgeted films from household names. It plans releases in the next year or so from Michael Bay, who was like Mr. Adventure movie, Transformers, Pearl Harbor. I got to think of all the other films he made. He's not. I don't think he's a great director, but he does make these blockbusters. And Martin Scorsese, who is going to do a film that'll come out in 2019, extending the pattern. During the recent Oscar season, Netflix spent tens of millions of dollars on a blitz for Roma and The Ballad of Buster Scruggs and other films, while the streaming giant came away with 4 wins of 15 nominations, including 3 for Alfonso Cuarón, critically lauded Roma. There goes my voice. The fact that the films only appeared only in select theaters for a few weeks before arriving on the streaming service rankled many Academy members. Let me tell you, there's a rule that a motion picture becomes qualified to be considered for Oscar nomination if it plays in a motion picture for, I think, even just one day before December 31st or before January 1st. So what Netflix would do is they release the movie to a theater or several theaters for a couple of weeks and then, put it on their Netflix platform, which they should do. They paid for the goddamn movie, for crying out loud. Now, here's why I hate Steven Spielberg, okay? The fact that, let's see here. One of the most rankled turned out to be Steven Spielberg. The director derided Roma as a TV movie. Now, I don't know if you've seen Roma, but it's hardly a TV movie. It is an art house movie, but it's not a TV movie. And it is from an established movie director. A guy so established he has won an Academy Award for Best Director for that space thing a couple of years ago. I forget the title of it right now. But he is saying that he called for significant changes to Academy rules to make it tougher on films championed by streaming services to ignore traditional release windows and protocols en route to nominations. Okay, you're a piece of shit, Stephen. And here's one of the reasons why. You refuse to realize that a person makes a movie, and you should know it more than anybody else, because when you were a kid, you made your little films, right? You would have liked them to be shown in a big theater, but they couldn't be because, well, you were just a kid doing an 8mm. But if there was an outlet for that, you would have been delighted. Well, today, new filmmakers have this great new platform. It's Netflix, it's Amazon, it's Hulu, and it's any number of others who are jumping into this, including Apple, who just announced their own channel, okay? They, excuse me, folks, I have to blow my nose. If I don't, you'll see snot coming out of my nose, okay? Okay, so the fact is the times change, and the method of distribution changes, and the places people can see things change, and the way in which they're shown changes. Now, yeah, I'll agree with you. If you were back in 1950, you would rather go to a movie theater with a big screen in the audience than to sit at home with this grainy black and white TV set. But now I've got a 65-inch in one room and a 55-inch in the other room. And if I wanted to buy one, I could buy one as big as 85 inches. I'm sitting in a fucking movie theater. I'm watching it in 4K, which is the same projection they use in movie theaters, all right? And so consequently, it's just the venue has changed from the theater to the home. And you have your little home theater, and you watch your movies, and you watch them on Netflix. And if somebody makes a great movie that you watch on Netflix, why shouldn't they get nominated for an Academy Award? There was no reason Roma shouldn't be nominated for an Academy Award in anybody's world. And the fact that you say, well, it's just television. No, it's not, Stephen. You want to know better than anybody. It's film. It is absolutely film, Stephen. So you're a piece of shit. Because what you're doing is you're saying, oh, well, if it isn't shown in a theater, then it's not really a movie. Huh? Have you seen Roma? It's a better film than any of the shit you've turned out in the last couple of years. And by the way, have I mentioned that Steven Spielberg, who hates Netflix, has signed up to do programming on the Apple channel? Yep. Yeah, this little piece of shit is duplicitous. He's complaining on one hand about Netflix because he's not working for Netflix, all right? And on the other hand, he's going over to work for Apple, you know? So fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I mean, the fact is, let me tell you a story. Yesterday, was it yesterday? No, Sunday. A girlfriend and I haven't been to a movie in I don't know how long. The reason is there hasn't been anything we really wanted to see. Well, we heard that Captain Marvel was a fairly good film, so I said, let's go see it. So she said, okay. Well, she buys the tickets. It's 3D, comfy chair theater. The prices have gone up. Yeah. She paid, I think it was $49 for 2 senior tickets. $49. And then I paid another $15 going to the theater and $15 coming back, so that's $80. And then we bought popcorn and shit like that. Before we were through, we spent almost $100 going to a movie. And can I tell you, this picture fucking sucked. It was terrible. It's so bad the girlfriend says, you owe me 2 movies now. Well, I don't know if I want to do 2 movies. But anyway, that was the deal, all right? And I am, you know, so when you say go to the movie theater to see the movie, I would rather sit at home and watch the movie, okay? I've got a 3D television set in there. Just show me a 3D copy and I'll watch it in 3D. If not, I'll just watch your 2D picture. But I don't have to go to a movie theater and spend that kind of money to see the film. In fact, if I watch it at home on, say, Apple or whatever, it'll only cost me something like, I don't know, $15 or something like that. So I don't get it. Hold on. Gonna blow the nose again. Oops, I forgot to bring the mic down so you heard me blow my nose. Okay, anyway, let's get on to what you're about to see tonight. The other night, we absolutely had to make things do at the last minute, and so I gave a real go at trying to... What happened is, for the longest time, we have used Skype as our way of talking to people, of getting people into the conversation. It first started because I was looking for a way that I could use phones to have people call me. Then I said, you know, phones, I got to pay the phone company, and they come over and they wire 4 different lines, and, you know, there's nobody here to clear them. And then I said, oh, well, there's this thing called Skype. That would be good. People could call me using Skype. And then we found out that when they called with Skype, the audio was so much better than with a telephone, okay? So we started using Skype, and I said, well, we have video. Why don't we put the video on? And so we started putting the video on, and we found that we could have video and talk, and all the citizen panel is here. And how we did it was we used a program, which I'm using here, called OBS, which is basically it's a video switcher. It does things like this, okay? It does stuff like that, okay? So just so you know, Okay. And I then took the picture, the Skype picture, and I took it and I brought it into the OBS system, so you could then see the Skype screen. All right, and that then was okay, but then they went to a new Skype system, and the problem was, ready for this? It didn't work. It wouldn't. I could not bring the Skype into it. However, there was a workaround that was invented by some people I know at New Tech. That's why I'm wearing the T-shirt tonight. At New Tech, called NDI, and what it does is it brings the individual callers' pictures in. I can place them anywhere on the screen. I can, it takes a little bit of doing when they first call. I have to assign them a spot, but you won't know about that. I'm just going to be down here potchking around. But when we did it the other night, it looked good, except for the fact that all the squares kept changing sizes, okay? And I know that was annoying for a lot of you, and it was more annoying for me because I like to do a show and sit here and talk with you and not have to sit here going, let me resize that picture. Oh, that one just went up. Now I got to resize that one. So I went online, I did some research, and I guess one guy online had the answer. And I then went in and applied his answer, and then we tested it the other night with Phil, and everything hopefully is rock solid, okay? And none of these pictures will move around. Plus, I've now put them in a nice order, and I've got different formations for like 3 people who call, up to 6 people who call, up to 8 people who call, up to 12 people who call, and I can put them all on the screen at the same time. And the picture looks good and whatever. Now, if you call the program and you're looking at Skype, you're going to see you're not going to see what the audience is seeing. This thing is not a representation of the Skype picture, because I don't like what Skype's done with the new Skype. What they've done is they've made it so that, and if you're calling us and you're using Skype, and by the way, I think anybody can call us now. You don't have to kind of have us make you a contact or whatever. You just call us and we will put you into the group, okay? So if you've ever had a hesitation about calling, all you have to do is use Skype, go to call Gabnet Live, L-I-V-E, okay? L-I-V-E, Gabnet Live, and, we'll be able to take your call. But here are a few rules, please. Do not play around with Skype. All right. The only thing you should do is you're probably going to want to move some pictures down. You can drag and drop them down into the main field to get the people you want to see who are talking. Otherwise, you're going to see them in little bubbles at the top, and they'll be talking. Okay, that's fine. I don't think that's a problem for you. You have control over what you see there, but don't change anything else. Don't try to share. Don't try to hit any button that says share or anything like that, because that will completely fuck us over. Also, don't mute anybody, okay? I'm saying that because if you mute them, they have to unmute themselves again. So don't do that, okay? In other words, we ask that you not play with the new Skype, okay? Just use it, and if you want to bring a picture down, like take one of the bubbles and drop them into the middle, you'll see that it will pop into the middle. But that's not what people are going to see here. What people are going to see here is the configurations that I've created for the program, and I think it will be a far more pleasing experience. The only problem is the names of the people who are calling are not there, okay? And they're not going to be there. So, whatever. Now, if anybody wants to check, I've got the lines open. So if at any point you want to call, we would love to hear from you, and we'll try to see if we can make this thing work nicely and efficiently and without problems and without me having to go crazy over what we see. My lines are open. I just opened them up, and you can call if you want to. So anyway, but this is all because I've had to go to the new Skype. I had to stick with it, go with it, because there was no other answer. There was no other solution to the problem. All right, so by doing that, it kind of forced me to have to go to this new format that we're doing, well, here comes Josh Wheeler. Okay, now I've got Josh. He's been added to the group. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is hello, Josh. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, let me just go here and put you on here. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I got to add Charlie here, but let me go to Josh, and Josh. There we go. And now Charlie. What's the name you use? Is that what name do you use?
Charles Wallace. 489.
Oh, really? I don't see it
or
here.
989.
Charlie Wallace 989. I don't see it here. That's strange. I have Josh. Okay, well, hold on a second.
Maybe it's got Cork 75.
Let me. Oh, I see. This is why. Okay, now let me go. Here we go. There's Charles Wallace. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to show you, folks, what's going to happen. These are the first two. Look at that. There we go. Is that not nice? I like that. Actually, I should have done it the old way of just going boom and then boom. Oh, really? I didn't want to do that. Anyway, that's
good to me.
Huh?
Looks good to me.
Okay. Well, anyway, it cuts back and forth. It doesn't matter. I've got a problem here, but it doesn't matter. Nothing that anybody needs to worry about. And so now we have two people. Now, if somebody calls me now, we can put a third person in there, and that's the three configuration. And then, in fact, where's Phil? You would think Phil would have joined us. So come on, Phil. Come on, we're waiting on you.
He's probably getting coffee. It's not quite.
You know what it is? It's not exactly 10:30 yet. So he's like going, okay, I don't need to call him. You know, why should I call him? Yeah. Anyway, but anyway, I don't know if you can see what the people out there are seeing, but it certainly looks better than it looked before. So. Anyway, I'm looking at it on the YouTube, and it looks nice, and so on. So I'd like to get Phil called so we get one more person in here for the time being. Anyway, how you doing, Charlie?
I'm doing great. Had a great weekend.
Yeah, what did you do?
Well, I went bowling.
You went what?
Bowling.
Bowling. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I hadn't bowled in about 10 years until last week, and this is the second time I went. Already improving.
I always like to joke with people. I took bowling in college. Oh, here we go. Here comes Jeff Stein. Yes. Okay, Jeff. Jeff has joined us. Hold on a second, Jeff, and we'll give you a little slot here. We go to, let me see here. Here's Jeff Stein. There we go. Okay, all right. And let me turn him on. There we go. And there we go. Now we got Jeff on. How's that, huh, folks? You like that, don't you? Huh? Isn't that sexy? Yeah. And none of those are going to change like they did the other day. They were going all crazy the other day.
Oh.
But I solved the problem. So I was looking forward to tonight just so I could say, see, I did it. I fixed it. You know. So what'd you do over the weekend, Mr. Wheeler?
You know what? We just got back maybe 5 hours, 6 hours ago. We were gone since your last show. We were weekend, and Monday and today we spent a couple days out in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, actually. We went and visited the battlefield site.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so we spent...
Oh,
we spent a couple days there in a small town and went out to the battlefield.
Yeah, you're breaking up on us. You're breaking up on us a little bit. Can you move your your computer a little bit, just so it's maybe angled slightly differently? It might be. What are you using? A laptop?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that sounds much better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear anything I said
Yeah.
there?
You said you went to battlefields.
Well, we went out and stayed in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania for a couple days.
Yeah.
So we went out and saw the battle site there at Gettysburg, PA, and looked around, stayed in that small town, and did a few things out there. So a few other things. There's quite a bit to do. Probably a lot of people that listen to you probably visited out there before. It's pretty heavily visited area, but it was a pretty good time. We were there. We stayed 3 full days plus travel, so it's pretty nice. We went to the. You can visit the house Lincoln stayed at when he went out to, give the Gettysburg Address and, see the room where he finished up his speech, all that kind of stuff,
Oh, wow.
the battlefield cemetery, etc.
Yeah. That's very nice. And you're a big history buff, so that must be wonderful for you.
Yeah. Patrick was pretty sad he couldn't go. He really likes Gettysburg, but he couldn't go. So I told him that. I told him I was going to tell the Gabnet people we need to start like a fundraiser to give Patrick the money to take himself out on a little trip, take the tour of the battlefield.
Roll out a fund? Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to put it that way. Hello, Phil. How are you?
Hey, how you doing? I was listening. You hadn't opened up the lines yet. A friend of mine called me, and then I said, hey, I saw the light was green for a while.
Yeah.
I'm looking on the YouTube, and you're using the 3 on the left.
Well, it just changed over.
Okay.
It'll probably, if you wait a minute, it'll change over because I then put you on. See?
Okay, so this is. There we are.
Yeah, and if
Very
more people
nice.
call, we can fit them in very easily.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. I think it looks really good. It looks terrific.
Yeah.
The picture's so sharp. Wow.
What were you looking? Are you looking at your Skype, or are you looking at?
He's got to be looking at
Yeah.
YouTube.
So how do you like the way the YouTube looks?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it was any sharper, it would cut you.
By the way, I want to thank Phil because on what was it, Sunday night, we did a little Phil and Alex show, which was a test of all of this. Because I have more than just these configurations. I have a 8 configuration, which you'll see coming up, which is not as nice as the rest of them. But it's only because the 8 are so proportioned that I can't do anything with them like I'm doing here in giving them a little change, as it were.
Well, the good thing is you'll never have to worry about the 8 because you don't get that many callers.
No, we do. But when we go to 9, I've got a surprise for everybody.
Yeah.
And I even took your suggestion, Phil.
Oh, really? Okay.
For if we ever get 12.
Okay.
But that'll never happen.
Nah.
But if anybody wants to see what happens if 9 people call tonight, you'll get to see it. So,
that's right.
Yeah. Plus, I like this now because the other night I was just having to constantly switch things and so on. But once I get somebody on screen, life is good, Yeah. And we're ready to go. So, so all I'm saying, folks, is where the fuck are you?
Yeah, well, if a few more call and you fill that up, they'll get a Gabnet prize.
No, they'll get to see the next iteration of this thing.
Well, either that or you can put yourself on about 14 times.
But you see, what we can do if we want to, if we really want to, is we can get rid of Phil. See in there.
Oh yeah, I like the 3 configuration better anyway.
Well, the 3 configuration's nice, but this configuration is really good. Phil, Jeff? What did you do this weekend?
Well, not a lot. I went to see my son.
Yeah.
And I went over to his house. He's working on some little thing in the basement and trying to fix some stuff. So I was helping him a little bit with that and watching all sports of the basketball colleges.
Yeah.
That was good. And other than that, I went to the gym, and this morning I did a little going into exercise in the water. That's my new therapy.
Oh, really? Good.
Aquatherapy.
Yeah, I spent the last day or two catching a cold. So, as you can hear. And it's better now than it was yesterday, but Marjorie gave it to me. Now, this is what's unusual, is I usually find that when you get a cold, when like one of you gets a cold, the other one doesn't get it for some reason. Like Marjorie would get sick and I just wouldn't get a cold. I wouldn't get whatever she had. This time I did. And so we broke the rule. And
you talked to each other while you were sick?
Yeah, we talk to each other well, we don't talk to each other at all anyway. So why should we talk to each other when we're sick?
That's why you don't get sick.
Yeah, right. Right. So.
From one another.
Yeah. So anyway, what do you think about what I was talking about with Netflix and Steven Spielberg and that whole bullshit about Netflix not making movies?
I doubt that he's worried about the competition.
I think he is worried. I think he doesn't know how to play into this, and how to use it to his advantage. Here's the thing. Martin Scorsese is going to do a movie for Netflix. It's going to be out perhaps later this year. Martin Scorsese, when he makes a movie, plays to how many people? His movie is seen in theaters by how many people?
I would imagine millions.
Not really. He's kind of a specialized filmmaker, and unless it's something that's got a gimmick like Wolf of Wall Street, it probably doesn't do that great. So where do you make your movies? You make them on Netflix. Alfonso Cuarón, if he just made Roma and put it in theaters, how many people do you think would have seen that?
Well, very few, and I barely made it through a half hour.
Well, let's say 1 million. Let's say 1 million. Yeah. Do you know how many people watched Roma?
Yeah, it was widely
about
watched.
50 million people watched Roma. You would never get, even if you were the biggest hit in movie theaters, you wouldn't get 50 million people watching your movie. So why shouldn't you do it on Netflix? Isn't the idea that you make something, you want people to see it, as many people to see it as possible?
But Netflix is a platform, and they choose what goes on it. Unlike YouTube, where if you're going to make a movie, you could put it on YouTube as well.
But you're making a bad case here, because we're not talking about YouTube. We're talking about Netflix vis-a-vis the movie theaters, and there are only certain...
We're also talking about getting your stuff out there.
Yeah, well, there are only a handful of movie companies, and less every day. Most of them are now owned by Disney. Okay? So why shouldn't Netflix be there for those people who don't want to have to deal with the major motion picture companies? And they probably get a great deal. They probably get a huge amount of ownership of their own work. And they get a good budget. You want to make a movie that costs a couple $100 million? If it's worth it, they'll do it, And they don't interfere. They don't sit there giving you notes about, well, maybe the picture would do better in Boise if we did blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So people who make movies love Netflix because they treat them well.
Did Bob Rubin ever get his Netflix deal?
Well, apparently not.
Yeah,
apparently not.
I know he made his stand-up act. I was there.
Yeah. So but we'll have to.
I have the poster.
Wait and see. Let me close this down here a little bit. There we go. Okay. So anyway. We need more callers. See, we have 2 more spaces on this page to fill up. And then we got the next page, after that. Yes, Jeff.
I think I went to one movie in a show to actually see a big movie. And I can't even remember what one it is. But we just don't go to those movies anymore. No. I think they're obsolete.
Charlie, how often do you go to a movie? When was the last time you went to a movie?
Last time I went to a movie was to see Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. When was that? A year ago?
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Josh?
I've been to a movie. I can't even remember what I saw. I went to one of those comfy chair movie theaters.
Yeah.
And I saw the new Clint Eastwood film. That's what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about the only film that I've seen.
What, The Mule?
No, I don't even remember the plot. I don't remember the name of the movie. It was the one that he just did.
No, that's the one where he plays a drug dealer, a drug runner.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay. You actually went to see that in a theater?
In a comfy chair theater.
But why go to a theater to see a film like that?
It's not out. It's not on TV.
It will be. It is on TV. It is locally. Yeah. I can purchase it from FiOS to watch.
Yeah. Well,
at this point.
So I purchased it by going to the theater.
Yeah, but you purchased it for a great amount more than I would have to pay for it. It would cost me, I think, $5.99 to watch. Is that what they charge on TV? And it's already there. So is Bohemian Rhapsody and everything else.
Yeah. Well, Bohemian Rhapsody I saw on the plane, and
that doesn't count. Steven Spielberg is going to try and shoot down any plane that shows movies.
Really? Yeah. Well, I think that I see more movies on the plane than I see in the theater.
Yeah. No. Oh boy. Well.
Well, I'm with you, Alex. It just costs too much to go to a movie theater.
Yeah, and then it's a shitty movie. That's the worst part. You know, if I paid that much money and I went to see Captain Marvel and I walked away going, geez, that was great. Wasn't that terrific? I'm glad I had the experience of the surround sound and the 3D. And even the 3D was badly projected. It was very dim, you know? So, I mean, there isn't even a pride and showmanship at these theaters anymore. They just throw the movie on the screen and hope you'll accept anything they throw there. And you just paid like, if we paid $49, we're seniors who paid the $50, $55 to get in. You know?
Yeah.
Fuck them. You know? I want some showmanship in my movies, folks. You know, but anyway. So I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. But I
was never a fan of Spielberg movies. You know, I can't imagine any that I didn't go to the theater to see Jurassic Park. I didn't go to the theater to see any of the Spielberg. I've never even seen Schindler's List.
Yeah, what did you see? Did you see Lincoln?
No.
No. Okay. Because, you know, if you went to see Lincoln, you would have seen at the end that Lincoln gets on a bicycle and floats over the moon. It was very good.
Didn't see it.
Yeah. It was very, very good.
Yeah. Wasn't that E.T.?
Yes, that's what was E.T. I was making a joke, Phil.
Oh.
Jeez. I like the fact this camera is close enough now that I can mug to it, you know. Mm-hmm. So, anyway.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's too bad you're the only one out of focus, but no, I'm only kidding.
No, I need to be out of focus. You see these? You know,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I need...
hey, it's Will Durst.
What? Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, folks, we would like you to call us so that we can fill up the... you see, here, I have to fill that up. Okay, folks? This is what I have to fill up. Okay, and I need 2 more to do that.
Hey, why don't you surprise them and give them a bunch of fills?
Hmm?
You can give them a bunch of fills.
I could do that.
Threaten that, and and as they call, you'll take me off.
Oh, hey, that's a good idea. Wait a minute, you just came up with a superb idea to get people to call. Let me see here. We want another Phil Meyer. Okay, where are you, Scuba? There we go. Okay, and then we want even another Phil Meyer. And we go to scuba thingy here, scuba diver, and it's okay. And then I go boom, and I go boom, and then I go, ready? There we go. There we go, folks. There we have the 3 Phil Meyers. Now, if you don't want 3 Phil Meyers on your screen, you must call now and replace
every time they call.
Every time you call, we replace a Phil Meyer. Okay, so that's what happens. That's the name of the game, folks.
Yeah.
I can make them all Phil Meyer and really piss you off. You know, I've got a 12 where I can put Phil Meyer on every one of the 12. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Am I right?
Yeah, I don't.
I haven't caught up yet, but I know what's happening.
You know what's happening, yeah. So so you can see what it's like when it's filled up, folks. So if you want to replace Phil, here's your chance. Yes, Jeff.
No, I don't see all of the stuff you're talking
It takes.
Oh, it
30
takes
seconds.
a while. It's not.
Yeah, because it's a lag.
Oh, are you, wait a minute. Are you watching YouTube? Jeff? Are you,
Yeah, you have to have the YouTube on.
You have to look at YouTube.
Yeah, and then there's like a
What's
30
on Skype is
lag.
different.
Yes, what's on Skype is completely different. On Skype, it's filled up now.
Yeah. Oh, there we are.
Yeah, yeah. This looks much better than Skype, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. That's
that.
what's going out.
So you do that through what?
What?
Should I switch to that?
No.
No.
Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything.
If you use your phone or something and you put it on YouTube, you can see it. But just remember that it's about 30 seconds or so behind Skype.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the name of the game tonight, folks, is Replace Phil. we have 3 Phils. That's more than anybody should have to take.
Yeah, and this way,
Fill of fills.
Huh?
all we got to do is call in, and I get knocked off.
Which one are
it's
you?
like those arcade games where you throw the.
Yeah, where's the real Phil?
Well, So anyway, folks, start calling in and replace Phil. Listen, Phil, what do you think of the president wanting to close down the borders?
Hey, I'm happy about it. I know that it's going to affect some people that do cross-border business.
Oh, it's going to cost you.
Why? Carpet doesn't come from Mexico.
You like fruits and vegetables, Phil?
No.
Hey, carpet layers come from Mexico.
Yeah, they do, but they've already gotten over the border.
Okay. So do drywallers and siding and roofers and, a bunch of other shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had one
We're
come
gonna
in
run
today.
out of avocados.
And, my question was, I said, oh, do you have a license? He says, yeah. He says, I can drive. I said, no, a contractor's license. And he says, no contractor's license. I said, well, would you work as an employee by the day? And he says, oh, no, I want to be paid as a subcontractor. And I said, but you don't have a license. So I said, no, I'm sorry, can't do it. And because what'll happen is this year they changed some laws, and if he gets reclassified by the IRS, I'll have to pay additional taxes, and I'll have to pay his taxes. It could be quite expensive. That's going to put some people out of business.
Well,
if they don't run it right.
And this is all your boys doing, right?
No.
What do you mean?
This has been the law of the land for a while, but it's getting enforced. People were saying, how come there's no e-verify? There's no way to verify if somebody has got the right to work in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then they'd say, well, it's the employer's fault for hiring these people, and they're not using e-verify, especially a business that's my size, under 50 employees.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a good thing, and it evens up the playing field. I want people to be responsible and be here legally and work.
John Peroulis is calling, but
Good.
there he is.
Hey,
so
now you can knock off a Phil.
We have to knock off a Phil. Here's let's see here. Let me see which one he is. He would be. Let me see here.
Hi, Alex.
Bottom two.
Live CHNP, something like that, I think, is what it is. Let me see here. There, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's right. Mm-hmm. There we go. There's John Peroulis. See, he just replaced one Phil. So yeah.
I know, I heard your request and I just had to jump in there.
Yeah.
Hi, Phil.
Hey,
Hi,
how
everybody.
you doing?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Well, sorry I missed you on Sunday. We had a good time.
Yeah, I was editing videos, but I'll join you guys, sometime.
All right.
Yeah.
But we won't tell Alex what we're up to.
Oh no, he'll love it. We were going to go shooting.
Mm-hmm.
and,
Yeah.
and we were going to kill some targets.
Will Durst is going to be in my neighborhood here at Marin Art and Garden with this other comic. I forget the guy's name now. Jeez. Swami Beyondananda. Yeah, so that ought to be Swami Beyond Ananda. Yeah, he's a funny guy. He's really good. And of course, Will Durst is Will Durst. Yeah.
Now the Art and Garden Center is very small.
Yeah.
But where are they doing it? In the theater up there?
Yeah, there's a theater. I think there's a group from Ross or Kentfield, a theater group that.
Yes, I used to be part of the Ross Valley Players, and I used to work and do plays in that theater.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow, what did you do? Do you remember?
Well, since I was a teenager at the time, we did all the teenage plays. They were always the clean ones, and so we did. The one I'm famous for was Arsenic and Old Lace, where I played the Karloff character.
It's a great play, even by today's standards.
But I remember all the plays that high schools used to do in those days. Things like Hearts Were Young and Gay, and Our Town, and and not bad plays really. But today, what are they doing? Are they doing Tennessee Williams now in high schools? I doubt it to this day,
Yeah, I don't know. The Marin Theater Company's been putting on some really quality stuff. I forget what they're running now, but they're running new play rights, and the cast. Every time I go there, I'm just blown away. How good it is, and I wish we'd see more of that in Marin.
Yeah. So anyway, we need to replace the other Phil there. So if there's any one of our other regulars,
Mary, come over here. Maybe Mary can do
it. I can't put her. I can't put her in the other square.
It's a dog.
Oh,
yeah.
Mary, come on.
But you see, folks, how easy this is for me, and it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Does she have her own Skype address?
Yeah, she has her own Skype.
Yeah, she's a poodle. She's very smart, right, Mary? Yeah, that's right.
Okay. What necessarily makes poodles smart? I didn't know they were smart. I just knew
they are.
Oh, she's very smart.
Actually, they're water dogs.
Yes, yeah, they're German. They're not French. They were trained to be retrievers for water.
They were trained to be Nazis, is what they were trained to be.
Are you a Nazi, Mary?
They're French.
You're not a part.
Hey, talking about that, Nipsey Russell got shot by Eric Holder, Obama's Attorney General.
That's April Fool joke.
No. That was Dipsy. What was his name?
Nipsey Hussle.
Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah. Well, Circle got the square, I guess.
Yeah. I never heard of Nipsey Hussle, and I would mourn his death right now. Hey, listen, I got to tell you something. This is a shocker. Everybody, hold on to your seats, okay? You two out there who are watching us. I got a Facebook message the other day. I always talk about my lawyer, Mr. Reamer.
Yeah.
That's it was a great name for a lawyer, and I was happy to have him as my lawyer because I could say to somebody like, Phil, you fuck with me, you got to deal with my attorney, Mr. Reamer. And before that, I had a lawyer named Joel Turtle. And you just don't want to tell somebody, you fuck with me, you're going to fuck with my attorney, Mr. Turtle. Yeah,
Did he send you a cease and desist?
No. So anyway, I got this message. Fred died. Fred Reamer died.
Oh.
He had a heart attack. He died at home. It was 2 days before they found him. Same thing like with John Rockwell. That's two people in 1 month that I've known intimately. Okay, not sexually, but intimately as friends. Well, they're people, I don't just say that I met somebody once and they're my friend so-and-so, Reamer was a friend of mine. And the last time I saw him, he came to New York and he hung out here, but that was several years ago, and I haven't talked to him since, and I really feel bad about that now. I kept always thinking about I should call Reamer,
He could have called you, but he would have sent you a bill.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, he's a lawyer. It's in their DNA, okay? And so I don't know how much longer I can keep Phil up there on that bottom square, folks, because...
Hey, Phil, I got 2 cents for Phil. He was fantastic at the Last Dragon House. I mean, he bought everybody lunch and drinks, and he took some dynamite photos, just... the other side of Phil is a real gentleman. And
oh no, he's a very good friend to me, and whenever I need him to test stuff out and whatever, he's always ready and willing to help. And I mean, what you're seeing in front of you is a result of Phil being able to test it with me. So, and tell me, folks, this doesn't look the best Gabnet has ever looked.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I bring Mary on some more?
No, no, you don't have to do that. But I would like to fill up that blank square down there now, which had Phil in it. Well, if you don't,
where's
I can always put Phil right back in there, folks.
Oh, you haven't taken me off yet on my thing.
Yeah,
still there.
Yeah, but you'll be disappearing any moment now, Phil, and I just put you back up again.
Ray Renati has been working his ass off on Mamma Mia, the play he's in. I'd go there, but it's at City College. It's you risk getting shot, stabbed, beaten, and robbed.
Really? I used to go to City College.
Yeah, and it's different now, man.
In the 70s.
It's like there's a murder every day in San Francisco. Someone just got stabbed. Oh yeah, that was in my neighborhood. Yeah.
And somebody just got stabbed. Well, anyway, we have 5 people. Actually, that would be, under normal conditions, I would think of that as a great citizen panel. But what happens is we've created this new dynamic for ourselves where we really, 5 people doesn't look like a lot, So, anyway.
Yeah. Hey, John, what's that machine that you have that shows like the 16 images on one screen? Or is that 16 different feeds?
No, it's just a monitor, but it's getting feeds from a switcher, and the switcher puts out that many images. So I don't use all of them.
Yeah. But because I said to Alex, what if you could bring in each person's Skype feed individually on a machine like that, and then you could shut them off. But Alex found a way to mute me.
No, really? Can you demonstrate it, Alex?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Not going to do it. Show the secret of how I can get back.
No, I don't want to even start doing that because it will cause problems.
All right.
I think a switcher should be able to interfere. I don't know how you do that because the switcher takes a direct feed from a camera. So you would have to have another way of getting everybo's image into the switcher in order to use it on Skype.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm trying to see. I found one of these squares is a little off, just a tad off. And I'm trying to.
That John Square is a little low.
Yeah, that's why I'm bringing it up.
But it's the same. It's on the same level as Charlie's, so you just got to make it bigger, taller.
No.
No, it's just set to go up a little bit.
I got to bring it.
What if it goes up? The bottom is straight across from yours.
No, hold on a second. I'm just trying to.
So the vertical number needs to be increased.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I got to figure something out here for a second. You guys keep talking.
All right.
Here we go.
Hey, I picked up a new toy. This thing.
Yeah. Oh.
See this? It's a handlebar mount for this.
A GoPro? Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a cool thing. I love all the doodads that GoPro gives you when you buy their system.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the plastic box that it came in.
Well, this thing has something called hyper smooth or hyper steady. And
Alex has one.
It's like a gimbal. You can just walk around with this, and it's like a track shot. It doesn't vibrate or jump around.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty amazing.
Alex was showing us the GoPro 7.
Yeah. Oh, you got a 7, Alex?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's but a great little camera.
Yeah, you don't need a gimbal anymore.
It's about $400.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, who needs gimbals when you got Macy's?
Let me see here. I've got to. Hold on a second. I'll be. You keep. Oh God, this thing moved again.
Close.
Huh? No.
Did you move it?
No, I haven't.
Has anybody seen the new Twilight Zone?
Yeah.
I think it's going to bomb.
I saw it last night. I thought it was very good.
The first one was good, about the Shamir, the comedian, who wasn't funny, and then he starts disappearing people. But the second one, which was kind of a remake on 30,000 Terror at 30,000 Feet or something, they should have cast William Shatner.
Yeah.
And that would have been funny.
Yeah,
but
they brought him back for that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But they didn't. So.
Yeah, the story kind of sucked. I just finished watching it. Yeah. Just after I saw that one, I thought, oh no, this show's gonna bomb.
Yeah. Well, I watched it. I thought it was terrific.
You liked it? Well, I'll tell you, the cinema and the choices that the directors make and the lighting is very unique. I've never seen that on, a show before. They use a lot of mood lighting and, a lot of depth of field shots where the background's all blurred out and I kind of like that. Yeah.
Well, they're probably using a camera. Like, a lot of times they shoot these things with SLR cameras, and they're able to use the SLR lenses and then create those effects.
Hey, so, the very first motion picture camera I owned was an Arriflex S. You probably remember those, Alex.
Yeah.
They used to use them. The animators liked them because it had pin registration and you could bang off one frame at a time. So a lot of animators used it. But so now I got a thing in my, video Facebook page or whatever, that Arri came out with a new mini camera. And I thought, oh, wow, maybe it's affordable, So this little box, it's about the same size as a red, cinema camera.
Yeah.
$60,000, $60,000. That's I don't think that includes the lens either. It's just this damn little Arriflex thing. Man,
they're selling Red Epics used for like $1,800.
Really?
They're are they 1080 or 4K? I think they're 4K.
Really? At $1,800 used?
I saw it on eBay.
See, then you buy a Cook lens, and then you're, spending about as much for a small house in Modesto,
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm trying to do something here, so just keep talking. Enjoy yourselves. This will be the last night we'll have to do any of this, but let's see here. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's...
Hey, there is a live... There is a live show going on at Marin Art and Garden every day, every night, 24/7. It's the Owl
growing
Box.
Daisies? Huh?
No, Owl Box. You can see the owls making love and having babies and...
it's a cam.
Yeah.
Owl cam.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy that works for me likes to watch the eagle cam. I don't know what it focuses on. It's an eagle's nest, and it's really high.
Oh, that could be the one down in Encinitas or at, what's that island? Catalina Island?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, there's an eagle's nest there.
Yeah. Well. People climb up to this thing, and they help it out and do stuff, and
jeez,
and it's really high.
Wow.
But
yeah.
So he keeps the eagle cam going.
Really?
Yeah. So it's amazing the kinds of things that they have these cams on. All over the world, you can see different intersections. You can actually, travel without traveling by watching some of the different cams that they have on TV, or not TV, on the computer.
Yeah.
Hey.
And then of course, there's the sex cams. But
Phil, have you published your shark underwater shots. Phil got back from a diving trip where he took some high quality underwater shots with sharks, and it was just fabulous. And
I put a few on my Facebook page, but when I was on the trip, I had a laptop with me, and so I did some editing while I was on the trip. But when I when I came back, I downloaded all the pictures, and it was 1,500 pictures, and I put them on my Mac Pro, but I haven't edited much of anything.
Oh, yeah, you got to do that. You had some
anyway,
stuff.
let me get back to something here. Now that I've got things fixed here.
You fixed it?
Yeah. Well, I just adjusted it. It's a little hard. I'm going to go back and adjust it later on after the show, but nobody notices that.
Yeah, it's very close.
It's very close. I think it's about where it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's got to catch up, but I think it's perfect.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Most people would never notice the difference. So. Anyway, no, what you were saying was that the Twilight Zone wasn't very good, and I thought it was very good. I thought it was excellent. Is
it black and white?
No.
I thought it was very good. I thought the story, the one with the comedian, I didn't watch the second one yet, and I liked it. I thought it was.
Yeah, I did too.
I thought it was a very admirable homage to the original, and retained the spirit of the original. You know.
Yeah, I like the host too. I think he's doing a good job.
I think he's the biggest director in Hollywood right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele. Oh yeah, he's monster. He's the
not Nipsey Hussle, huh?
Yeah, right. He's terrific. And how about Tracy? Morgan in that thing?
Tracy Morgan, the guy who played MASH.
No.
The
comedian Phil. Boy, are you old-fashioned. The comedian.
No, it was a good story. I like the way they made use of that mural at the end of the piece.
Well, don't wait a minute. You're spoiling it for people. You're spoiling
I was thinking of you, Alex.
You're spoiling.
That was like your.
You're spoiling it. You're spoiling it. That's not right for you to do.
Oh, a spoiler?
Yeah.
Well, that's if anybody watches it, you know.
Well, if you
no, I'm just talking about the art in the film. You know, it's very arty. You know, you could tell that the cinematographers love the visual imagery side of it, and it's unique.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's you're not going to see a TV show that's lit or directed. They do a lot of low shots. You know, mounting the camera low and like shooting up at the actors, and that's kind of interesting. You know, I think
you know something. Nobody goes away saying that was some great photography. They go away saying I either enjoyed it or I didn't enjoy it. You know, and the individual pieces of the art, you know, don't matter to the average person watching it.
That's true.
I try to imagine the lighting, you know, and how they lit something. You know, not that I can even fathom all the work that they do to light an area, and to get that effect. But you know, because I try to do it with 2 lights or 3. I can't imagine what you do on a movie set. But I look and I see the directions of the light, whether they're backlit and they got hair lights and things like that, just to get an idea of how they did it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, lighting is such an art in itself. You know. I mean, it's again, like Alex is saying, it's one of those underappreciated things, and not everybody. You know, if you really want to see technique in a film, just shut the audio off. And I know most people don't watch TV that way. I do, because that way you focus on camera position, lighting, you know, the sequence of shots. But as soon as you turn the audio on, you lose all that. You can't focus on the technique.
You know, when I was a youngster and smoked pot, I used to watch movies and TV with, with the audio off.
You smoke
well,
pot.
All I'm saying is that you know, I mean, it's the story and it's the selling of the story by the actors involved, and that's that's it. You know, and
who was that black lady that played the other comic?
I don't know. I never saw.
God, was she good? Man, she was hot and just totally into that role. You know, just great.
But anyway, so I just wanted to say that I thought it was I thought it was a good show. I think it's going to do okay. And, it's on CBS All Access, All Access, not CBS, CBS All Access. Yeah, but you can see the first episode on YouTube. If you want
that's
to see
right.
It there.
They released it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Hey, did anybody see Highwaymen with Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson?
Yes, I liked it.
Me too.
Yeah, you told me about it, and I watched it last night. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's one of the best performances I've seen Costner do. You know, he kind of really got lost in the role. And, you know, I wish I'd do a story on Joaquin Jackson, who wrote 2 books on being a Texas Ranger. Guy just passed away too. You know, but if you read his 2 books, it's just amazing what the dangers that some of these Texas Rangers put themselves under.
Yeah.
But
anyway, so let's get back to the border. I think it's
build that wall.
Huh?
Build the wall.
Well, no, I'd say don't build the wall.
Give them something to camp at, you know.
You know, I mean, I think that what we're dealing with here is he's just, to begin with, he gave up on health care today. Did you hear that?
He tabled it.
He tabled it. He gave up on it for the time being until 2020. Maybe he wants to use it
after the election.
Yeah. Well, because somebody asked the Republicans a very important question. I'll get to you in a second there, Jeff. Asked a very important question of the Republicans. How come you keep saying you want to replace Obamacare, but you don't come up with anything that you want to replace it with? You know? Yes, Jeff.
I heard that a bunch of the Republicans said, will you stop screwing around with that?
Yeah.
It's a disaster anyway. Potential disaster.
As far as the wall goes, see my hand.
Who are you, Marcel?
What the emergency at the border? Obama's.
There's no emergency at the border, Phil. But go ahead.
Well, that's because. Have you been to the border? Have you seen what these ICE agents and even former Obama head of ICE was saying? Is that there is an emergency, that they're being overwhelmed by the number of people, and if they release them, 97% don't show back up. When they claim asylum, they're not showing back up. So what's happening is they're being overrun. They can't process these people.
That's what you hear. Enough. That's what you've been told. By the way, folks.
There's no emergency at the border.
I'm going to put up one more fill, so that if anybody wants to fill that spot, now's the time to do it, folks. Now's the time to do it. Okay.
That 97%, that's bullshit.
What? That's my dog. What do you mean that 97% is bullshit?
97% don't show up? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, this is what is being reported by the people that are in the know.
No, they're not in the know. They're trying to keep their jobs.
That's what Fox News
They're trying to keep their fucking jobs. These are people who are making
they would have their job if there were 6 people coming across the border.
No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. They know that if we somehow solve this problem, like said, anybody who wants to come in can come in. They'd be out of work. A lot of them would be out of work.
Hey, how come when you want to go to Canada, if you try to bring cigarettes in, they fine you? If you go over there and you're not supposed to, you've got a criminal record or something, they'll reject you immediately at the border and they'll fine you. And if you try to get around it, they'll fine you a lot of money. Maybe $5,000. Now, why is their border protected but ours can't be?
Well,
they don't have a wall.
They don't
have a wall.
They got fines.
They don't have a wall, and if you want to seek asylum, they're ready to take you.
And do you know how many billions
Wait a minute, you just glossed over that, Phil. You just glossed over.
No, they're not ready to take you. If you have a criminal record, you don't get in there.
Well, if you have a criminal record.
Well, Trump is saying the same thing.
Well,
if
but no, he's saying
these.
Some of these people are criminals, but he can't say Jose is a criminal, but Juan isn't.
That's because Juan and Jose are using the same Social Security number, which doesn't exist anyway.
Gee, you don't get what I'm saying, Phil. Phil, you're trying to rather than argue, you divert the whole question.
No, hey, Juan and Jose both applied for installer jobs at my shop.
Yeah, okay,
and if you have them fill out the thing, they all have the same Social Security number.
All I'm saying, Phil, is that if you want asylum in Canada and you're not, a wanton criminal, you can get asylum.
You can get that here.
No, you can't.
All they want to do is be able to vet them.
Obviously, all we do is complain about how there are too many people trying to go for.
Yes, because they're gaming the system, Alex. They're using this asylum thing when they really only want the benefits of.
Thank God!
Economic benefits of being in America.
Thank God we got Kevin Stopper calling.
All right.
So that will take care. Let's see here. Where is he? There he is.
Yeah. There's one.
Wait a minute. There we go. There's Kevin Stopper, ladies and gentlemen.
You can put me in one other position if you change up the screen.
I won't go to the 8 until there are 8. By the way, in case people want to see what 8 looks like, 8 looks like this. Okay, that's how 8 looks. Although I could leave it like this,
Right now, this is 6 plus you.
Yeah, and I just went to the 8 configuration. I can actually fit 8 people in there. In the one that they're watching.
That. Well, what happens is
if you wait, it will happen on YouTube. It doesn't happen immediately on YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube.
So you got to.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
I'm still seeing 7 on YouTube.
See, that's the 8 configuration. Oh, by the way, if you want to really go sexy here. We can always go to this was the one, you won't have that many people in there, but you'll have me in one of the squares there. But that's the way the 12 configuration looks. But let's go back to the 8 configuration, 6 configuration, so we can, because that's really sexy.
Oh, yeah. Kevin just popped up on my YouTube.
Yeah. I didn't have this one the other day when we were working on this film. Hello, Kevin. How you doing?
All right, how you doing, Al?
How you feeling? How's the pain radar or whatever that thing is they put in your back doing for you?
It's coming along. We keep messing with programs. I'm on about the 4th setting now. I'm gonna switch it over tonight and see what happens.
Now, how do they switch it? Do they actually program it?
Yeah, they've got all kinds of programs in there already.
Where's your remote control? Do you have your remote control for it?
Yeah. Right here.
No, that's the TV one.
Kevin has been having a great amount of pain because of his feet and his legs.
It's a different color. See, it's this thing here.
But it's that, and not only is it, it also changes channels, doesn't it?
No, it changes different. See, it's got different lights and stuff on it.
Oh, wow.
It's on program 1 with 4 lights now.
Yeah.
I used to go to a store in the mall that would sell these chairs that had a similar remote control, and it would massage you.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got my airport card in the mail today, so now I got a card that lets me get through the plate, the detectors at the airport and all that crap.
Oh, really? They think you're concealing something?
It's not a bomb.
So they think you're concealing something if they put you through the X-ray?
You got to realize, folks who listen to this program, that a great deal of our people on this program have medical conditions. It's almost a requirement. It's almost a requirement for being on the Alta Citizens panel. Jeff's got a pacemaker. It's like RoboCop here. Kevin Stopper has this thing in his back that does away with the pain as soon as he turns it up to high.
Actually low.
Phil's working without a prostate. Okay. I'm the only one. I have some neuropathy, and I may have prostate cancer, but the good kind. So, but we don't know that. So really, for all my complaining about my health, I'm probably one of the. Well, Perulis doesn't seem to have any. Do you have any problems, Perulis?
No, I don't.
You see?
I'm in good shape.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Well, what was that? Was that? That was a form of this.
No. I screwed up my screen. I can't see myself, so I don't know what I'm doing. I was just trying to go like this.
I see. Are you in a bubble? Maybe you got to drag yourself down if you can't see it.
No, I hit some button and I
see people. There are
up.
bubbles. There are bubbles. Like Charlie Wallace is in one of my bubbles. However, I wanna let's talk for a second to Josh here. Josh, you've been following the news, I imagine, right? Because you're a news junkie. What do you?
We were listening as we were driving back and forth.
Huh?
Yeah, we were listening to it as we were driving back and forth on our trip. So I got a fair amount today for sure.
Yeah. What do you listen to? In other words, what's your channel of preference?
I bounce around a little bit when we're driving between, obviously I still have Sirius satellite, so, I can get CNN and MSNBC. I listened to some of the POTUS channel today, which is, I think, Michael Smerconish was on there. And I listened to Tom Hartman for about a half hour. And then I bounced around to some of my other sports stuff I listen to. So I got a variety of the news today. There's a couple stories going on.
There's
now,
one interesting
one. Let me ask you. Do you listen to the? Do you ever listen to the right wing stations to see what they're saying, or do you just feel that's useless for you?
Gets enough of that from me.
I mean, I do occasionally. I turn them on for maybe 5 minutes or whatever, and sometimes it's just amazing. I've just always noticed with those stations, it's like. They always seem really angry, and like the world is, pretty much about to end.
Yeah.
And if you don't do exactly what they say immediately, the clock is ticking. I don't know. They just always seem, really angry, which is kind of how Trump played into their whole deal. I that was kind of what bothered me about him right after the inauguration was everyone in his administration that you would see on TV every day. They always just seem so angry, that Stephen Miller guy and Kellyanne Conway. I mean, everyone was just, it was just like, man, I know we have problems, but can you not just maybe not sound like you're just so devastated every day?
Right. Phil's got his hand up.
I understand what he's saying. I don't perceive it as angry, but what I wanted to say was that a Chinese national got into Mar-a-Lago today, had a thumb drive with malware on it, several cell phones, a computer, said that she was there for an event that wasn't there, and she got through the first phase of security, which was just, do you have a bomb kind of security.
Get clearance.
Yeah. She didn't have clearance. She had clarence, but not clearance. And so it's very interesting that this Chinese national with two different passports on her, I think it's a spy. And it was,
I think Trump gave her clearance a long time ago.
One of the people he gave
No, that was that other gal that's the whistleblower.
It doesn't matter. He gave it to her just willy-nilly.
Yeah. Even the whistleblower said that Trump didn't interfere with the clearance stuff.
Because he's too lazy to interfere with anything.
On that note, I've found myself watching Fox a lot just because of the fucking entertainment. It's entertainment at this point because MSNBC has gotten so fucking boring.
Yes, absolutely.
And I just go to Fox to watch the other side, and I sit here and I laugh at it.
Let's be honest about it, Kevin. You really go over there for the boner.
That's true. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is the couch. It's all about the couch, and then
the 9 o'clock. It's a noon here. Yes, the four women on a couch.
Dana.
Yeah.
Hey, will that little remote control work on the boner too?
No, Phil. There's Phil. There's no hope for you. Okay.
There's probably a program in there. I'll find it.
All right.
I'll let you know when I do.
Yeah.
But it's just been so entertaining to watch, and the demented minds, and how they'll have one Democrat on there, one slightly left person on there, and they just pile on.
Juan Williams.
They don't let them talk. They don't. They say, "Well, what do you think about this?" And as soon as they start to answer the question,
no, come on,
they're
Kevin.
all over them.
I saw a thing on YouTube. I saw a thing on YouTube with Ben Shapiro.
Like Bill talks all over everybody else here.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Well, Kevin, there was a guy. Ben Shapiro had was on YouTube and had a debate.
Who's Ben Shapiro?
Ben Shapiro is a right-wing Jewish pundit. And
well, that would be interesting. You said he was right-wing. We knew that. And with a name like Shapiro, we know he's got to be Jewish. So what are you telling us? I said, who is he? What are his credentials?
Well, he has a talk show, but he's a very good debater. And matter of fact, he was at Cal Berkeley, and there was a lot of protests. He's the Jewish version of that gay guy with the funny name that is the right wing.
He's the Jewish version of Adolf Hitler. Okay.
No. He's an intelligent guy. He debates. He never loses his cool, and wears a yarmulke. But anyway, this guy Ben Shapiro was on a show that was similar to The View. And they were all talking over him. It was they were ganging up on him, but he handles himself really well. And their way of dealing with him or anyone else is to call him a bigot or to call him some sort of name. Yeah. Matter of fact, when you listen to the left-wing shows, all they say is that Trump is an idiot, Trump is a moron. I've decided that Trump should be called a poo-poo head, because that really tells you what's wrong with Trump. Trump's a poo-poo head. It's not that Trump is doing something that's bad. It's not that Trump is doing something that you don't like and you can have an argument against it. He's a poo-poo head.
By the way, you know what I can do?
That is the left's logic for combating Trump.
There are all kinds of examples of bad things that Trump does.
Yeah, I haven't seen any.
By the way,
and Joe Biden, your buddy Joe Biden, he's grabbing him by the pussy.
No. He's grabbing him by the hair. Joe's a hair.
Well, to begin with, wait a minute. To begin with,
this
woman who has been accusing him, she's accusing him of, well, he didn't do anything.
She was uncomfortable.
She was uncomfortable. Well, listen, I'm uncomfortable with Trump, okay, but that doesn't mean he molested me. All right. I just found that was, didn't you, Josh? Did you hear about that woman?
Joe Biden tried to grab me by the pussy.
No, he didn't try to grab anybody by the pussy. They said he rubbed her neck or something because she needed.
And then
you obviously haven't seen all the videos online of Joe getting real close to little girls and
they're
hugging
pulling
them, and they're pulling away.
He's a snuggly guy.
Oh yeah,
he is a fucking.
Wait a minute. What happened? What happened? Tell me what happened to the day when you could be a little touchy-feely, be a little warm, and hug somebody?
Not like Joe, man. Not like that.
Well, listen, I think Joe should give up on running. To be honest with you, I think he's
going to have to.
No, I don't think he's going to have to.
He's going to run into so much shit. He's going to run. Does he really need it?
Yeah, can you imagine Trump and Joe in a debate? Trump will tear the shit out of that guy.
No, but what does he say? Does he say, "Do I really need this shit?"
Exactly. He's just
that's what they do to these Democrats. Like who's the comedian from Saturday Night Live that your friend in New York got rid of? Huh?
Alec Baldwin?
No, it's the one that was a senator.
Franken?
Al Franken. He said, I don't need this shit. Joe Biden will say, I don't need this shit. Eventually, they're going to put Joe the bartender up against Trump. That's all will be left.
Yeah.
But you know,
he's the only one that doesn't even know if he's got any.
Maybe that's a good idea.
I think this Me Too shit has got to stop, because the whole thing with Biden, with the woman who's accusing him, I watched her and I just went, What? How are you hurt? I mean, have you been marked for life? You know.
Okay, Alex, you gotta be honest. If we had Star Trek technology and a holodeck, what do you think goddamn Joe would be doing in the holodeck?
What? I don't know what he'd be doing in the holodeck.
Like
what are you implying,
thing.
John?
This is just like the Kavanaugh thing, except the Democrats are eating their own.
No,
you got a woman that is worked in a rape crisis clinic, and she believes that a guy in North Carolina, the lieutenant governor, put his hand behind her neck, and she couldn't move her neck, and all of a sudden she was gagging because she was down on the guy, you know. But they were kissing on the bed consensually in his hotel room.
Well, none of this stuff, you know, I mean, all I'm saying about the Biden thing is I listened to this woman and I went, hey, lady, come on. Yeah. You know, I mean, why don't you save this for people who get raped, okay? Why don't you save this for people who are truly molested and are truly grabbed by their pussy by Donald Trump, okay? Yeah. I think that to accuse Biden of this is you're just trying to get publicity, and you're probably sent in there by some opposition to try and discredit him.
She's a big Bernie supporter.
Well, okay, I make my case. You know,
but you know, do you think that Bernie Sanders would go to that extent to try to bump?
I think Bernie Sanders would go. I think Bernie Sanders would go to any extent to win.
Really?
Yes, I do. I don't think that just because Bernie gives a good speech about being as a socialist, that Bernie is necessarily a completely ethical person. In fact,
we know he's not.
I know liberals. I know diehard liberals up in Vermont who hate his guts, okay? So, you know, I don't think Bernie should be giving it a go. I think it's a little late. Well, you're a big Bernie fan, aren't you, Charlie?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I just think Bernie's too old, to be honest with you, and so's Biden.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to see a nice, hardcore liberal with the same nasty attitude that Trump has go at him.
I would like one like that with big tits. How's that?
Yeah, even so.
You know,
just go hard on Trump.
This is so I can break into the Bernie, the Bernie conferences and then make trouble.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I mean,
but the Democrats are too hoity-toity for that. Boy, they won't do it, and that's what bothers me.
There are some people.
They only beat up other Democrats.
Oh no, they'll come out of the woodwork like Blasey Ford and the rest of them.
Yeah,
this is no different.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, this is not like Blasey Ford. Ford, I think
she really was.
I think,
and probably
Trump
this other,
such easy bait.
This one in South Carolina that is complaining out against the lieutenant governor was probably attacked too. You know, but when maybe she didn't say no because she was choking on his large member. You know.
In case you just joined us, folks, welcome to our brand new looking Gabnet panel. And up at the top there, you've got Josh Wheeler, and going down beneath him is Charlie
Wallace.
Wallace. Jeff Stein is below him. There's, of course, Phil Meyer over on the right-hand top side. And then there's John Peroulis, and right below him is Kevin Stopper. So I just want to see, I can do that now, as long as I can remember your fucking names.
Yeah, he's doing that so he can remember our names.
Well, I know I'm getting to the point. I never had an easy time remembering names anyway. Okay, ever. But now that I'm getting older, it's getting impossible. It's now, wasn't he the guy that was in that thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I've always butchered names because I can't remember them. So, the only thing I haven't done is say, "Hey, Chief."
You know, Kevin was saying how tired he was getting of what do you call it, MSNBC, and I kind of agree with you. I think that it's too predictable. You know, I would like to hear just a little bit of somebody challenging their opinion on those shows.
Well, but Rachel Maddow, she's still, you know, she's in outer space. You know, she's in the space-time continuum. She still thinks it's a conspiracy. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it is. I think that I think that the Attorney General should release the whole report, you know, to the Congress and let the Congress decide what needs to be redacted. Let them see it unredacted.
There are certain laws that they have to follow.
That's what this Attorney General is saying.
Well, that's why he's the Attorney General.
That's his opinion. His opinion also, a few months ago when he was trying to get the job, was to write a huge report that was given to the president, which I'm sure he had read to him, and then they drew pictures to tell him what was said.
In 2025.
Wait a minute. He said that the president could do no wrong, basically. The president, am I right about this, Josh?
No, he said that the president couldn't be prosecuted while in office, and you know, I guess
I don't think that's exactly what he. I don't think that's exactly what he said. He said a president cannot commit any crimes. Basically,
they can commit them.
Shut up, Phil. Shut up a second. Josh, do you know what he said? Do you remember what he said?
That's William Barr, the AG.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically his belief. I mean, he wrote that memo basically stating that when he was kind of auditioning for the job to be Attorney General. I mean, that's kind of how he got the job. I mean, if you ask me, it's by pretty much writing this memo and putting it out there for the world to see, knowing that it would get to Trump, stating that, you know, he's in the camp of people that believes, you know, the president can't be indicted, impeachment's your only form of recourse. You know, executive privilege has broad power, you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, he's a pretty pro-executive branch guy, so there's no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, Kavanaugh had the same opinion, right? He had written a paper saying the same thing.
Yeah, Kavanaugh's definitely a pro-executive power type of guy, which I've talked about down here before, is why
wasn't the Constitution written to kind of with things like emolument clauses and so on to prevent that sort of thing? I mean, didn't they want to make sure that the president was always kept in check and that he had to answer?
We have many checks and many balances, but you know, I mean, but we err in our ways. I mean, we're all human beings, and there's 300 million of us, and everyone sees things differently. So, it changes with the times, you know, depending on what's going on and how people see it, the makeup of the court. National emergencies tend to change things. You know, as circumstances change, people's opinions change.
Yeah.
And so it evolves over time.
Yeah.
And we're kind of in a bad way right now, I think.
Right.
Yeah. Right. He's a poo-poo head.
If you want to say that, yes, you can say that.
A doo-doo brain.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. You know, that really goes to the point.
Yeah.
And his father was born in Germany.
That's concentration camp Trump.
Yeah, no. He went on this big spiel today for like 3 minutes about how his father was born in Germany and is from Germany, and
he's
a very nice place where he was born. And everyone was like, "Your dad was born in the Bronx, New York." Yeah, I mean,
he's a first-generation American. And you know, he came over the wall.
He wanted to get back to the oranges of things.
Yeah, he's
What the hell was that?
What?
What do you mean, Charlie? What
he said today that he wanted to get back to the oranges of things.
The what?
Origin.
Oranges of things.
The oranges of things?
What the fuck is oranges?
Well, you know, his family came from Germany, and they were the Drumpfs. And I believe the Drumpfs made their original money in Alaska by opening up hotels or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And then eventually moving to New York, where the father, of course, then took what small fortune great granddad Drumpf had done, changed the name to Trump, and made his fortune, which he then passed on to little Donnie boy. Yeah. So that's a history of that family. But they are from Germany. They are immigrants.
Hey,
Yeah, but
Alex,
wait a minute.
Wasn't your father German?
Yep.
All right, so
Actually,
you and
he
Trump
wasn't.
have a lot in common.
Actually, I think he wasn't born in Germany. I think he was actually born in Poland, if I'm not mistaken.
Who's that?
My father. And then he moved to Germany. And in fact, there is a picture of World War II coming to an end, and the crowds at the Brandenburg Gate celebrating the end of the war. And my father.
The Brandenburg Gate?
You let me finish what I'm saying.
I think you're inaccurate.
Huh?
I'm wondering if you're inaccurate. I thought the Brandenburg Gate was created after the Soviets took over East Berlin.
No. It was there long before that, Phil.
Oh.
Anyway.
Who put up the wall?
Can I finish what I was saying, Phil?
Right.
You won't let me finish. You interrupt whatever I say with something you think is more important, and it isn't. You could have asked me, wasn't there a Brandenburg Gate earlier or whatever later on? But the point is, supposedly my father saw a photograph of all the crowds at the Brandenburg Gate at the end of World War II, and he could point himself in the crowd. He saw himself in the crowd, yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I just thought that the Berlin Wall was built by the Russians. I didn't know it
was never built by the Russians, Phil.
Well, why did they tear it down?
They didn't tear the Brandenburg Gate down. They tore down the wall.
Well, isn't that the gate that got you past?
No. That was the separation between East and West Germany, but they built the wall up to it. The fact is the Brandenburg Gate was always there, Phil.
So okay. So the wall and the gate is two different things.
Yes, Phil. Yes.
Okay. Well, then,
let's see here. Brandenburg Gate.
Wouldn't have a Brandenburg
Gate. Okay. All right. Brandenburg Gate.
When was it?
Brandenburg Gate, Wikipedia. It was built in, let's see here. Construction started. When do you think, Phil?
Probably 1865.
Well, let's say, when was it completed?
1942.
I want to show you how far off you were, Phil.
All right, you tell me.
Brandenburg Gate was finished and erect and ready to go, unlike you, who's never erect now, in 1791.
Wow.
So you were a little off, Phil. Just a little off. Just a tad.
I was thinking that the wall and the Brandenburg Gate was all part of the same thing.
No.
And when you went into East Berlin.
And you know why you believe that, Phil? Because you're a moron. Okay?
No, poo-poo head, please. You call Trump a moron. I am a poo-poo head.
Yeah.
Now,
by the way,
I thought that the wall wasn't built until the Soviets partitioned East and West Germany.
Did you know how I said earlier that Steven Spielberg was a big piece of shit because of his opinion about Netflix? Well, I have to put in the same category Helen Mirren. She was talking about her latest picture, and she says, "I love Netflix, but fuck Netflix."
Really?
Yes. But she didn't elaborate on what she meant. But she said she loved Netflix, but fuck Netflix, basically. So.
Maybe they canceled a show she really liked or something.
No, I doubt it. They don't cancel anything. In fact, the trouble is they got too much on Netflix.
Well, I don't know. They sometimes, they start shows sometimes and don't bring them back all the time or whatever. Like I watched that fucking Marco Polo or whatever they had on, and it went 2 seasons, and then all of a sudden they didn't do it anymore. I mean, they sometimes do that, I guess.
Well, I think they're in the same business as any of the networks, only they have one advantage the networks don't have. The networks have to rely on ratings, which are specious at best because it's an elaboration of a handful of people into what a whole nation is watching or a whole market is watching. Whereas Netflix knows exactly to the person how many people watched a movie or a series or whatever.
I had a people meter for a couple of years.
Well, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Well, it has to do with how they get the ratings.
But you're backtracking. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that Netflix is completely has knows down to the last person how many people are watching a show. So if Marco Polo didn't have the kind of numbers that translated into the kind of money they were spending on it, then they just don't continue with it.
How do they know that when one subscription has 300 people using it?
I can tell you how. How many streams are going out? How many streams are being used? And the fact is, I can tell you now to the person how many are watching me right now do this little show on YouTube. And it's 3. So, but I can do that. I can do that with the audio, and I can
30.
do that at any time during the day. In other words, we get, and now there are questions about some of the statistics, but the fact is that when you have somebody like Netflix, they're just like a network. The only difference is they're not relying on advertising; they're relying on subscriptions, and if they figure they're paying $300 million to do something like Marco Polo, and they're not getting the kind of amount of people watching that watch the Nancy Drew mystery, then guess which is going to stay on and which is going to be taken off.
But Alex, when I was wearing my people meter, if I was watching Netflix, wouldn't that have registered?
No.
Because they don't put out the signal?
I don't know that they do or they don't. I would have to check in.
I would imagine they would.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
On a podcast.
But Netflix never, ever, ever says how well a show is doing or not doing. They know, but they don't say. And they say it's just not.
Going to give us?
Huh?
Are they going to give us another season of Kaminsky?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that got a nice viewership, and I'm sure that it did well, and it's not an expensive show to produce. Hey, that's a given. Mm-hmm. But when you've got a big show with big budgets, big huge budgets, the question is, are they going to renew that? Marco Polo had a large budget, really large budget. So if it wasn't getting the kind of numbers they felt it should get, they weren't going to continue with it. We got two whole seasons of that, and it's a lush, beautiful show. I loved it, actually.
Yeah, I did too. But sometimes they just, they stop stuff out of the blue. I mean, the other networks do the same thing. I almost don't even hardly watch anything new anymore until it's been on for a while, because I'm always afraid that's what'll happen is you'll start watching it, and then I like it, but not enough people or whatever, and then it just goes away, and it's like I never quite got over fucking Lost, bucking me out of my 6 or 7 years of my life, so it's like. Now I'm gun shy ever since then to watch shows, I guess.
Yeah.
How many seasons do you think that they should give us? 6 or 7 isn't enough. You got to have 13.
No, I think there are very few series that last 13 years, Phil. Even Big Bang Theory, I think, is in its 12th, and it's going off this year.
Hey, Doctor Who.
Well, Doctor Who's a different kind of situation. To begin with, you have to separate it because there was a 10 to 15 year lapse between the old series and the newer ones. And it was a very cheaply produced show originally for the BBC. So, I mean, you just can't use that as an example. It's a different situation.
Yeah. But, all these shows are like that anymore. It's so, I mean, even on the networks, they can just go away with, like, almost, no notice, it seems like. Like, things happen, someone says the wrong thing, they're off the show, or Shameless was on, and then Emmy Rossum isn't happy with her check, and I'm not saying she was wrong or anything, and then maybe it's going to go away, and now maybe it's not. I just fucking hate it.
There's an English Shameless with the same names?
Yeah.
I saw one episode or 2 episodes, and it was interesting. You're seeing the same people.
It's got to be. It's got to be interesting because it's the original, which is probably in many ways better, than this one. I can't watch this one, but anyway, the point is that they sometimes shows do not last,
right.
and the networks are very capricious with that. Shows will be knocked off after 13 weeks, Now the network that seems to hold on to shows long beyond their expiration point is CW.
Oh yeah.
But they've got Supergirl and they got Arrow and they got Legends of Tomorrow and they got. In fact, the largest producer. Who do you think the largest producer is in television?
Television.
Bet if I said his name, you wouldn't even know the name.
No,
his name is Greg Berlanti. And Shecky and I were ticking off all the shows that he has on the networks or on the streaming services or on any number of outlets. He has something.
But he's the Norman Lear.
13
today?
shows on the air right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy who does Arrow.
Never heard of the guy.
Arrow, Superman, Supergirl rather, The Flash, DC's Legends of Tomorrow. He does Riverdale. You go over to the DC thing, he does Titans. He does Doom Patrol. I mean, I could go on and on. This guy, every time I turn around, he's directing a movie, and he's producing another show on CBS this year coming up. I mean, it's just one thing after. He's literally the most prolific producer in television.
Now I know why I never heard of him. I never watched any of those things.
Oh, some of the shows he does very good. He does a good job. I mean, Doom Patrol, which is on DC, you have to subscribe to DC for that, is terrific. It is an incredible show. He also did the who was that? On Netflix. There was the show about the girl who's like a reporter or something, Keen or trying to remember the name. Well, anyway, he's got another couple of shows on Netflix. I mean, the guy is just he's a machine.
On Netflix, unless it says recommended for Phil, I don't watch it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't watch any shows really anymore that are on the non-cable networks like NBC. They don't do anything anymore that's interesting. I mean, I don't like any of it. I mean, the only thing that still gets watched is my wife, and I watch it with her. She still watches that Grey's Anatomy after like 300 years, but I mean, that's pretty much the only non cable network show that we even watch. I
watch Arrow, and I watch Supergirl, and I watch DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and I watch Riverdale.
Right.
And I watch all those Berlanti shows. They're really some of them gotten a little soft, but The Flash, there's 5 of them right there. All Berlanti.
But if Supergirl, and I've never seen it, but if you could get it moved to HBO, then we could see Supergirl naked, and people could say the word fuck. And those are both necessary for me to watch a television program.
Well, what's funny is on Doom Patrol, which is another Berlanti show, when he's not on a regular television network, the word fuck is the most used word on that show. Brendan Fraser plays a guy in an iron suit, and he's what the fuck? He's constantly going, what the fuck?
This is George of the Jungle?
What? Yeah.
Last time I saw him in something.
You should see how he's gained weight. He's blimped out a little bit.
Oh,
It makes most of us feel good about ourselves now. If that happened to Brendan Fraser, God, He
had the body type for doing that. He's not a thin bone guy.
Yeah, but now they just put him in an iron suit and say "fuck you."
We only have we have less than 2 weeks before Game of Thrones comes back on now.
Yep. Yeah, that's the big one. Yeah.
Never saw it. I never watched a single episode.
Well, we used to call Game of What the Fuck's Going On, and then what we did is we started with episode 1 and we watched the whole thing, and now we know what's going on. But
you almost have to watch it and then maybe go back and rewatch. Because there's a lot.
I think there are only 5 or 6 episodes, and of those 5 or 6 episodes, I think they're all about an hour and a half each. They're going to be long.
The last season?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them are supposed to perhaps be even longer than that. Instead of 6 episodes, they said it's almost going to be like 6 movies.
Yeah.
And the budget for, I guess, the 6 episodes was almost like doing 6
movies.
Movies.
Well,
I mean, it's
going to be similar to that Woody Allen thing that that Woody Allen thing. I think it was 6 episodes.
What does that have to? Woody Allen, they produced those on a shoestring compared to what's Game of Thrones. Come on.
Yeah.
I think 1/10 of one episode of the Woody Allen series amounted to 2 minutes on a Game of Thrones episode in budget.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing with HBO. I mean, their stuff tends to be really, really expensive. I mean, the last big miniseries that they did with Tom Hanks, that The Pacific was made like, I don't want to say like 8 or 9 years ago, like 2008, well, maybe 10 years ago. And at that time, they spent it was over $200 million. I mean, which is a shit ton of money.
Well, also, they feel that when they do something like that, what they're doing is they're making an investment in just the whole library that you have available to you. Like, I can go watch The Pacific if I want to right now.
Right.
And in fact, you can even watch me introducing episodes of One Night Stand on HBO that I did, 25 years ago, something like that.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had my, what do you call it? I get residuals on that, by the way, still to this day. That's the one thing that keeps on giving are residuals, They just have,
Did you hear anything more on the Mick Jagger heart
Yeah, I
deal?
had an item on them here. Wait a minute, hold on a second. I'll give it to you quickly because I got to go into theme here. He has to have heart surgery, but they say it can be taken care of. So, anyway.
Open heart or just an angioplasty?
No, hold on a second. We may
they
go
said
on.
to be back on tour in June.
Said health issue. The source close to the band saying Jaggers is set to undergo heart surgery this week to replace a valve in his heart.
Oh, well,
so
maybe,
it's a valve.
Talking about residuals, Jeff will get one.
It's a valve replacement. Okay.
Yeah, well, that's what Jeff did.
Jeff did. Oh, heart valves. I see. I get the joke, Phil. Yeah. Anyway, that's our theme playing in the background.
Jeff wanted to say something.
What?
Jeff wanted to say something.
That's all right.
What, Jeff?
Talk about valves.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that tomorrow night, okay? You can tell
tomorrow is Phil free.
Oh, good. That means that one of these squares is going to look a little something. I don't know. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. It's going to look a little like this. Okay, that's how tomorrow night's going to look because it's a Phil-free night. Okay, all right. Yeah, but anyway, wait a minute. I got to do that again. Wait a minute. What did I do? Oh, I see. I forgot to. I just want to put Phil back on again. There we go. Okay, there we go. I'm still learning this. Hey, thank you very much to Josh. Thanks very much to Phil. Thanks very much to Charlie, to John Perulas, to Jeff Stein, and to the lovely and attractive Kevin Stopper. Hopefully we'll see a lot of you tomorrow night. Why don't you all give a big wave goodbye to the folks out there in television land? Okay? All right, there they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's the what do you call it? That's the citizens panel for tonight. I can get rid of them, I think, all at once if I'm not mistaken. How do I do that? I go. Hold on a second. Well, they're hanging up on me. Okay, there I go. I just hung up on them. Okay, and I'm leaving in the Skype open so the next show can use it. And that next show, ladies and gentlemen, is the exchange, the intersection with the lovely and attractive Jack Bishop. We'll be back again tomorrow night after the franchise MC does his little show here called the Arena. It's a sports show, and then right after that is Damian Chaplin with the Exchange. And then at 10 o'clock, I'll be back here, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye.